Every moment, every day, someone somewhere is liking something on Facebook, opening a link, making a comment, leaving a telltale digital trace behind them. The harvesting of that trail of data has brought us to the suburb of Arvada, a middle-class matchbox set of tidy houses in a swing state where every resident is a highly valued political target. But even before we knock on their doors, we have information that tells us how open they are, how conscientious they might be, neurotic, extroverted, or agreeable. That's because we've seen a cache of campaign data from a Cambridge Analytica source. It's extrapolated from Facebook activity. The data sets out values for 5 different psychological measures for 136,000 citizens here in Colorado. Cambridge Analytica insist they deleted all the data. Janice? Hi. Nice to meet you. Meet Janice, who's lived on this street for 20 years. She says she's never taken an online personality survey. It's something she wouldn't do because she says she's too wary of making private information public.
So it says here you're a medical nurse, is that accurate? It says where you live, how old you are. This is from 2014. But then it gets into these personality measures. So you'll see there's agreeableness, conscientious, openness, extroversion and neuroticism.
Neuroticism,
yeah. On their scale, you're relatively open. Certainly among your neighbours, you're one of the most open people on the street. Does that feel...
Yeah, that feels like that
feels accurate?
Accurate.
And it says that you're, I guess, tending toward introverted rather than extroverted.
I'm not an introvert.
On meeting you, that doesn't strike me as being the
I'm
case.
an extrovert for sure.
Or do you think it's more
But online, she's an introvert. Janice tells us she only uses Facebook lightly, and for that reason can't imagine how they've made these assumptions about her.
But Facebook has always been, for me, a window I looked in and kept the shutters kind of tight on my side of things because I don't want people to look at my life.
Are you surprised by the idea that there is this kind of granular level of detail that is being collated by political campaigns about people so that messaging can be tailored specifically to you?
Absolutely. It's a manipulation of our society by people who don't really care about our society. They care about their business, they care about their bottom line, and they aren't here for all of us. Other than they want to manipulate all of us because we're either a voter or a consumer. And that's how they look at me. They don't look at how safe I am or how good my schools are.
Mark Zuckerberg has this week apologised. Do you take any kind of consolation from that?
Not really. He didn't do it until people deleted their profiles and started closing their accounts. He didn't care about America until it was going to hit his bottom line, or he thought that the trend might go the wrong way. And so in that, it just made me more disgusted with him.
If you believe Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook is now doing everything it can to ensure users' data is locked down, and it can't be obtained again by third parties like Cambridge Analytica. But what about the data that's already out there, the data that was derived from those Facebook accounts, the data that appears to form the basis for these personality profiles? If we can get a copy of it, users would be naive to assume that someone else can't as well. Facebook's Cambridge Analytica scandal has prompted comparisons to the Wild West, legislators declaring the harvesting of data and its use in political campaigns further evidence of a new and lawless frontier.
Somebody comes to you and says, look, we have data which allows you to micro-target the universe, and also we will tell you what type of messages they are receptive to based on their personality and psychological profile. You're very likely to say, where do I wire the check?
We showed veteran campaign consultant Rick Ridder an anonymised version of the data we have. He says it's a disturbing departure from the kind of thing you normally see on a campaign.
I've never seen it certainly in Colorado, and never seen it like that in any national campaigns here in the U.S. or in the U.K. Personality data has some real implications for democracy throughout the world, because fundamentally what you're able to do is identify, or think you're identifying, individuals who perhaps have a neurotic personality, and therefore they're going to be more likely and more susceptible to be persuaded by, shall we say, apocalyptic messages. If I knew that you were an open personality, I might have more optimistic language.
So you can apply that messaging in a more kind of customized manner.
Right. I mean, we've moved to a place where all politics is customizable. This goes way beyond what has been done before.
The data we've seen dates from 2014 in Colorado, when Cambridge Analytica was contracted by super PACs, or external funding bodies, to aid in the effort to get Republican candidates into office. Back in 2014, the Colorado State House was a Democratic stronghold. They controlled both chambers, and the governor was a Democrat too. So at the midterm elections, the Republicans were desperate to wrest back control. Enter Cambridge Analytica, a bright, shiny firm with a flashy British CEO promising groundbreaking psychographic profiling.
Should we look at the personality scores? So in terms of agreeableness, you're more agreeable than your husband.
That would be true.
That's true.
Also on the list, Deborah and her husband, who live down the street from Janice.
So how surprised are you that a foreign company might hold this kind of...
Very surprised, and I find it disturbing.
Why do you find it disturbing?
Because that's personal information, and, you know, just to be able to have strangers be able to kind of make assessments about who we are and what our views are, whether it's accurate or inaccurate, it's unnerving to think that somebody has and is keeping track of that information.
I mean, is it disturbing and distressing enough that you would think twice about engaging?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It gives me pause to think about what information. And then I'm questioning, like, if I scroll down something and click on it to look at, like, more what's involved in the post, if that's them gathering data as well, it makes me really hesitant to even want to engage to that degree.
It's a neighbourhood that puts a premium on privacy. Many residents we tracked down were reluctant to discuss the story on their front porches, and certainly not on camera. A number wanted to see their data but were unwilling to do interviews, too upset by the way their privacy had already been abused. Others, like Barbara, didn't mind so much. She agreed to meet us in a local park near her house. She's a lifelong Republican and a Facebook devotee.
Do you use your like button a lot on Facebook?
I love it. Not like, I love.
You love it, okay.
Or both.
Her personality profile felt the most accurate of anyone we met. It suggested she's an introvert.
Yeah, I tend to be naturally, yes, but I can open up, especially one-on-one in a crowd. I can if I know I have to, but I'm most comfortable to be quiet.
And finally, neuroticism is one of the other categories here. You're not particularly high on that scale, so you're not a worrier about external threats. That's not something that...
I'm not, because I have peace. I just have peace in Jesus Christ, and that's honestly how doesn't matter what's happening around me, because I'm at peace.
Does it worry you that somehow people have kind of extracted this information about you from your online profile?
It didn't worry me because I figured they were.
So you've always assumed that anything you put out there, that it's going to be collated in some way?
Yeah, I just figured they were.
Well, Barbara was right. She says she doesn't mind that someone harvested her Facebook details, but others do. CA told Facebook it deleted the information, but clearly there are profiles derived from that work that circulate still today, and capturing them all feels an impossible task, even for Mark Zuckerberg.
Kylie Morris, well, Facebook declined our request for an interview. In fact, we've been asking the company for an interview every day since the 17th of March. In a statement, they said, "What happened with Cambridge Analytica represents a breach of trust for which we are very sorry. It is now clear to us that there's more that we could have done, and as Mark Zuckerberg said, we are working hard to tackle past abuse. The ICO has launched an investigation into Cambridge Analytica, and we are assisting with this. And Cambridge Analytica themselves told us they have never passed any data to external parties," adding that they had deleted the data harvested from Facebook and took steps to ensure that third parties did so too.